What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90, and as you can see, it is time for Bundesliga predictions. This is week 20, and I would say out of Serie A, La Liga, and Bundesliga on my channel, the favorite series so far of the three has been the Bundesliga. We've had correct scores predicted every single week since we started, at least one, which is very, very cool. And I just want to say a massive thank you to all of the new subscribers on the channel. We started this series for 30,000 subscribers, and now we are less than 100 away from 31,000 subscribers already, and it's not even February. So thank you so much for the support. If you're excited as well for the Champions League tomorrow, you can check out my Champions League predictions that I uploaded to the channel yesterday. But flashing up on the screen real quick are everyone that is supporting me over on Patreon and gets access to exclusive members, tips, and accumulators. And I believe if you're quick, you can join now in the next couple of hours and check out the tips I've got for League One and League Two over in England today if you want to get access to that. And as well as that, you get a shout out in every single video. You see your name flash up on the screen. It's just a good time, and everyone supporting me on the Patreon is essentially what has allowed me to free up enough time to make these prediction videos. So with that being said, let's get straight in to the first game. It's Werder Bremen up against Mainz. Now, last week, Bremen secured a very good draw against Borussia Dortmund 2-2. I predicted 3-2 to Dortmund, but tipped both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. And Mainz beat Stuttgart 2-0, as you can see. Phenomenal result for them there. And before I go into my score prediction and tip for this game, I'm just going to say I think every team in the Bundesliga is scoring this week. I mean, last week, there were three teams that didn't score: Bochum, Union Berlin, and Stuttgart, surprisingly. I think every single team is actually going to score this week in the Bundesliga. So if you want to back goals, go for it. For this one, I'm going to go high scoring. I'm going to say 2-2 draw between Bremen and Mainz. I know they haven't picked up a win in for Bremen, but I think they're playing quite well. The tip is going to be both teams to score at 1.61. Moving on now to Bayern Munich up against Holstein Kiel. And honestly, I think this is going to be a bloodbath. I'm predicting Bayern to absolutely smash Bratislava in the Champions League, and I don't think there'll be any sort of hangover from that. I think they're going to win this one. I'm going to say 5-1 to Bayern Munich, and the odds here, 1.04, abysmal. But Bayern Munich and both teams to score as the tip at 2.4 looks pretty good. It's always above evens for Bayern, even if barely, and it happens more than 50% of the time. So you're going to make money even when it doesn't happen there. We tipped it. It happened there. We tipped it. We didn't tip it there, but we actually tipped over 4.5 goals in that game. So that was an unbelievable call, which was nice. And I don't think we tipped it there, actually. We might have done. I might have gone for the outright win there, actually, because the odds were pretty good. And we did tip it there. We tipped it there, and it didn't come in. And we tipped it there, and it did. So as you can see, it's never below evens. That just won't happen for a result on both teams to score. But, you know, it happens more often than not. So Bayern Munich to win 5-1. Bayern and both teams to score 2.4. After this, it's St. Pauli up against Augsburg. And, I mean, this is an interesting one. It's probably one of the hardest ones for me to predict. St. Pauli's result was phenomenal. 3-0 against Union Berlin. And Augsburg was our correct score prediction last week. 2-1 against Heidenheim. This is, like I said, a really tricky one to call. I'm going to go for both teams to score, I think, as the tip. It is 1.95. I like the value. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Now, after this, it is Heidenheim against Dortmund. Dortmund in their away form. I can't back them. I can't do it. Even though Heidenheim have won 1 in the last 7, they've won 4. I'm not going to go for a Heidenheim win. But, I mean, if you look at this result here, Frankfurt, I mean, fair enough. But that one there, Holstein Kiel, 4-2, abysmal. 2-2 against Werder Bremen, as I said. Borussia Dortmund have a game in the Champions League as well that they've got to contend with. And I'm going to go for honours even 2-2 draw. The tip is going to be both teams to score an over 2.5 goals at 1.83 because you get better odds than a Dortmund win. And it's so difficult to back Dortmund away from home. So I'm going to say 2-2, both teams to score an over 2.5 goals. After this, it's Stuttgart up against Borussia Monchengladbach. Again, a really tricky one, actually, for me to predict. Monchengladbach, this is them here, I believe. They're in 8th. And Stuttgart up there in 4th. But Stuttgart have a must-win game against PSG in the Champions League. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. And Stuttgart are heavy favourites. And I know why. Their recent meetings between the two, Stuttgart have won heavily. But the tip is going to be Borussia Mönchengladbach +2 handicap at better odds than Stuttgart to win, 1.61. So the odds are basically saying it's more likely that Stuttgart win than Borussia Monchengladbach to lose by 2 or more goals, and I don't see that happening at all. Stuttgart could even win this by 1 goal, and the +2 handicap for Gladbach still comes in. So I saw the odds. I thought there was a little bit of a mismatch there. I'm going to go Borussia Mönchengladbach +2 at 1.61. So, yeah, let me know what you think of that in the comments. I love as well, with much more so, I would say, than the Premier League and the Champions League, because these are specific leagues that a lot of you have very specific interests in. There are a lot more insightful comments about specific teams in these videos in the comments. So if you have a specific comment about a team or something like that, let me know down below. Now, after this is Bochum up against Freiburg. I'm gonna shade it to Freiburg, even though they've lost the last 3. I just don't think Bochum are good. They're not. Like, Freiburg are in 10th, Bochum are bottom of the league. I'm just gonna shade it to Freiburg 2-1. But the tip is Freiburg draw no bet at 1.8, because the odds, they can't separate the two. So unless Bochum win, you're either going to win money or not lose money, and I think that's a fairly safe shout given that Bochum have won twice all season. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Freiburg. After this, Union Berlin up against Leipzig. Leipzig have a pointless game in the Champions League against Sturm Graz, which I still expect them to win just because they are so much better. But Union Berlin, I don't think they're going to be able to beat Leipzig here, and I really, really like the odds. So I think it'll be close. I'm going to say 2-1 to RB Leipzig, and the tip is going to be RB Leipzig to win at 2.2. I think they're good enough to get the win against Union Berlin here. After this one, this promises to be a big one, I think. Frankfurt up against Wolfsburg. This is a tough one. I'm just looking at my score predictions here, and I'm going to go for it. I know Wolfsburg are having a decent season, but I'm going to say that Frankfurt win 2-1, and I'm going to tip Eintracht Frankfurt and both teams to score at 3.2. My highest odds pick of the week. I mean, this here, Hoffenheim, Frankfurt were winning 2-1, and then Hoffenheim scored in the 95th minute. That was a bit of a shame, because we had a result on both teams to score treble with Roma, Frankfurt, I can't even remember the other one. It might have been Lyon. And it was about to come in at odds of nearly 70-1. And then Hoffenheim score that late equaliser. And I can't believe it. But I'm going to back it again. Frankfurt and both teams to score at 3.2. After this, it's Bayer Leverkusen up against TSG Hoffenheim. I think this one's going to be massive. I'm going to say 4-1 to Leverkusen. But instead of Bayer Leverkusen and both teams to score at above evens, just in case Hoffenheim throw again, like with the Bayern Munich one where it was 5-0 to Bayern, my tip is going to be over 3.5 goals at 1.61. I think this could be 4-0, and it just keeps that on side. But if you're feeling brave, you could go Bayer Leverkusen and both teams to score here. Obviously, they drew here against Leipzig, but there, I believe we tipped both teams to score and over. And as I said, I got this one slightly wrong, but it was a very late equaliser, and I think Bayer Leverkusen will have more than enough to keep the pressure on Bayern Munich at the top of the table. So as you can see here, here's a roundup of the scores, and I have got every single team scoring in the Bundesliga. If you do at both teams to score ninefold, let me know. I mean, obviously, you've got the likes of Bochum, maybe Union Berlin against Leipzig, St. Pauli and Augsburg, maybe one of them won't score, maybe Hoffenheim won't score. It's all pretty speculative, but I do think there are goals on the cards as standard for the Bundesliga. So that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like, subscribe down below so you don't miss a single video, and I will see you in the next one very soon.